Assalamu alaikum. I am Mohammad Jahangir Alam, lecturer in physics, and I am from Milestone College. I welcome you all in my online class. First of all, thanks to Almighty that He has given me the ability to take this class and carrying on my regular activities. Dear students, I also hope all of you are well with your family and carrying on your regular studies, staying at home by the mercy of Almighty. Dear student, in one of our previous class we have discussed about vector, different type of vectors, addition of vectors, parallelogram law, and today we are going to discuss on an important topic from the same chapter, that is from the second chapter of physics first paper, vector. And our today's topic is resolution of vector and its component. Student, in our previous class we have discussed about parallelogram law, and according to parallelogram law, if two vectors or two similar vectors acting on a particle simultaneously are represented by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the magnitude and direction of the resultant vector can be obtained by the diagonal of the parallelogram passing through the point. Next student, suppose here is a particle. According to the law of parallelogram law, if two forces, that is a force denoted by P, act on the particle in this direction and another force Q act on this particle in this direction, if the force P and Q are represented by the magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, then the resultant of the two vectors, that is this is P vector, the length of this ray represents the magnitude of P vector and this direction is the direction of P force. Similarly, the length of this side is denoted by the magnitude of Q and this direction is the direction of Q force. So resultant of the two force, since two forces are acting on this particle at the same time, so resultant of the force will be represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram, considering these two sides adjacent of the adjacent side of the parallelogram. Suppose if we complete the parallelogram, then the diagonal of the parallelogram will represent the magnitude and direction of the resultant vector. Here R is the result of P and Q, so we can say that R is equal to P plus Q. Dear student, we obtain R from P and Q vector. This is the resultant of P and Q. And today we are going to discuss the resolution of vector and its component. Actually, the resolution of vector and its component is the opposite phenomena, exactly opposite phenomena of parallelogram law, right? In the parallelogram law, we get one vector from two vectors. We get one vector, that is we get R from P and Q. And in the resolution of vector, we will get two vectors from a single vector, right? Let's friend, to consider there are two particles. If you would like to displace the particle in the direction, then you have to apply a force on the particle. Suppose this force is denoted by F1. So this force is acting in this direction and the particle will be displaced in this direction. Okay? But if you would like to displace the particle in this direction, then we have to apply another force on it. Suppose the applied force on the second body is F2. Right? So here are two forces acting in two different directions. As a result, the two particles will be displaced in two different directions. But if we would like to displace the two body in two different directions by the application of a single force, we would like to displace the two body into different directions, but we are going to apply a single force. So what do you think? Is it possible? Okay, let us consider. So we are going to discuss on this phenomena, that is resolution of vector. How can we resolve or divide a vector into two or more than two parts, and these two or more than two parts obtained from the vector resolution is called component of the vector, right? Dear student, let's consider a realistic phenomena. If you have any minimum idea about carom game, then you will enjoy it. Suppose here is a carom board and here are holes or pockets of the board, right? Here are two discs of carom. Suppose one is white and another is black. Suppose white disc is your and black one is opponent hands. So if you would like to send your disc to this pocket or to this hole, you can send it striking it in straight way, right? You can send it by striking the disc in the direction, then it will go to the pocket or hole. But if you are expert in carom game, then you have to think that how can you send your disc to this pocket and how can you displace the opponent disc to an inconvenient place, right? This will be the character of a expert player. So here you have to apply a single force, but the 2 coin or 2 disc will displace in the 2 direction. To displace 2 disc into different direction, in our previous example we learned that to displace the 2 disc into different direction we have to apply 2 force, but we are going to apply a single force, but it will displace the 2 body in or 2 disc into different direction. How is it possible, right? So from the realistic or practical aspect, we can say that many of you have do the same phenomena when you play the carom game. You send one disc to the pocket and displace the other coin or disc to an inconvenient or convenient place. So from the practical aspect, we can say that we can resolve a force into 2 or more components. Since force is a vector quantity, so we can say that force also be divided into 2 or more parts according to our requirement, right? So now we are going to discuss how a vector can be divided, or how can we get the components or parts of the divided vector. Dear student, already I have said that the resolution of vector is exactly the opposite phenomena of parallelogram law. Yeah, we get one vector from 2 vectors. Now in vector resolution we will show how we will get 2 or more than 2 vectors or 2 parts from a vector. Suppose here is the main vector, which is denoted by R. We are going to split or divide this vector into 2 parts according to our requirement, right? One part is denoted by X, which is making an angle alpha with the main vector, and another part is denoted by Y, which is making an angle beta with the main vector, right? Dear student, if we complete the parallelogram, suppose this is the main vector and these are the result or component, right? Since this is a parallelogram, we know the opposite side of the parallelogram are equal and parallel. So this side, if this side represents y vector, then this side will also represent the y vector. Okay. Now if we remove the portion, this portion of the parallelogram, then it's a triangle, right? And now we consider again in the parallelogram, this angle is denoted by B. So this angle is also denoted by B because these 2 angles are alternate angle. Since these 2 are parallel sides and this is the transversal, so this angle are alternate to each other. So in this triangle, suppose we denote the sides by O, A, B, C, right? So in OAB triangle, this angle is alpha, this angle is beta. So what will be the angle in at point A? So we can write the angle as 180. Total angle is 180. We have to subtract the other two angle, alpha plus beta. Alpha plus beta. So the value of the angle is 180 minus alpha plus beta. Right? Now we are going to apply sine law of triangle. There is here is a relation between side and angle of a triangle, and the relations are, if in a triangle, suppose I am going to draw a triangle, the sides of the triangle are A, B, C, and the angles, if the angle is denoted by alpha, here there is beta, and this angle is denoted by gamma. So according to sine law of triangle, we can write that the side of, if we get AC side, so AC, it will be divided by the opposite sine of opposite angle. So opposite angle of AC is beta. So here we will write sine beta equal to, if we get AB side, AB, it will be divided by the sine of its AB side. The opposite angle of AB side is gamma. So we can write sine gamma. Similarly, if we take BC side, BC, then the opposite angle of BC side is alpha. It will be sine alpha. This is the sine law of triangle. So we are going to apply this same law according to this, or in this case, or in this triangle. Okay? So here, if we get OA side, OA side, so the opposite angle of OA side is beta. So we are going to write the sine beta. This ratio will be equal to, if we take this side, that is AB side, and the opposite angle of AB side is alpha. So we can write here sine alpha equal to, if we write OB, the opposite side of OB is 180 minus alpha plus. So we write sine 180 minus alpha plus beta. Right? So dear student, here we can write OA. What is indicated by OA? OA indicates the magnitude of x component. OA. This length indicates the magnitude of x component. So here we can write x divided by sine beta is equal to AB. AB means y, the magnitude of y. So y divided by sine alpha equal to OB. OB represents the magnitude of r. So r divided by, after the simplification we can write sine alpha plus beta. Question: from this relation, if we compare the first ratio with the third ratio, then we will get the x divided by sine beta is equal to r divided by sine alpha plus beta, or x is equal to r sine beta divided by sine alpha plus beta. Right? So this is the expression for x, that is the magnitude of the first component is making an angle alpha with the main vector. Right? Now we are going to compare the second ratio with the third ratio. Here y by sine alpha is equal to r divided by sine alpha plus beta, or y is equal to r sine alpha divided by sine alpha plus beta. So this is the expression or the magnitude of the second component, which is making an angle beta with the main vector. Right, dear student? So using these two expressions, we can get two components of a vector which are acting making an angle alpha and beta respectively with the main vector r. Here x and y are called the component of r. So x and y are the component of r. Here an important topic to important tricks to mind. Keep in mind the how can we write the component. Dear student, if we would like to get x and if we would like to get y, the trick is that in both cases there will be r and beside its denominator will be sine alpha plus beta, sine alpha plus beta. In both cases this portion will be same, but when you will get x, there will be beta, sine beta, and beta is the angle which makes the component y with the main vector. And when you will get x, then beside the side you have to write sine alpha, and alpha is the angle which makes the component x with the main vector, right? Dear student, now we are going to discuss on resolution of vector in normal components. In our previous discuss, we have discussed how can we get x and y. There x and y are the two components. X make an angle alpha with main vector r, and y makes an angle beta with the main vector. Dear student, now we are going to discuss the normal vector, that is when x and y will be perpendicular to each other. If we draw a figure, then it will be convenient to us to realize it. Suppose this is the main vector which is denoted by r. Yeah, alpha at alpha angle the component x is actually, right? And if we draw a perpendicular, the angle which is beta for the y component, right? Now in case of this parallelogram, here the alpha and beta, summation of alpha and beta, alpha plus beta is equal to 90 degree. This is a special case. The two components are perpendicular to each other. So we said that we are going to resolve a vector in normal components, right? So if we use the value in this expression, from this expression we also write that here beta is equal to 90 degree minus alpha. Okay. Now if I write this expression for the special case, that is for the perpendicular component, then we will get x is equal to r sine beta. Beta means 90 minus alpha, 90 minus alpha, right? Divided by sine 90 degree. And after the calculation, you know sine 90 degree is equal to 1 and sine 90 minus alpha is equal to cos alpha. Therefore x is equal to r cos alpha. And similarly, if we write the expression y is equal to sine alpha divided by sine r sine alpha divided by sine 90 degree. So y is equal to r sine alpha. So these are the perpendicular component of vector r. Here r is the main vector, x and y are the perpendicular component of r, right? So using this expression we can get the perpendicular component of a vector. Here the main trick is to keep in mind that when we are going to get the component which makes an angle alpha with the main vector, in that case we use cos ratio, and for the perpendicular component with the component x we use sine ratio, right? In both cases we use alpha and alpha. We have used only one angle alpha. We are not going to use the beta in the ratio, right? So this is the expression for the perpendicular component of a vector. Dear student, I hope you got it, and you need to read your textbook for your betterment and to realize it clearly. But if you have any confusion, you can ask me, you can ask your subject teacher, and you can write to our group. Okay, so thank you very much. May Allah bless all of you. Assalamu alaikum.